Hey everybody, welcome to Stamp and Chat with Gina K. I am Gina and I'm so glad to see you all here. Tonight it is our PJ party and I'm back in the same old PJs as I've been wearing. I thought about getting a new pair and I know I talked to you guys about that, but I don't know. This is comfortable. It's kind of my color, so I'm going with it. Or else I'll pull the sweatshirt out again. Welcome, everybody. I hope you guys have been having a great week. The weekend is here. I know that doesn't even really matter much anymore because it all feels like the weekend, but I am sure glad to see you all. So you can see the sun is out. See the sun shining in from my window. The sun is finally out. The rains have stopped. And the flood in our basement at work has calmed down. So we're all doing really well around here. I saw a few of you asking about Rena and that she hasn't made some videos in a while. Well, like I told you, if you didn't get a chance to hear me, I stole all the lights from work and brought them all into my home studio. So Rena has no lights. She and Alicia have been talking about maybe doing a little makeshift set in her basement at their house. And so maybe I'll bring her in on a live soon. Yeah, and then Ruth just asked, what about the wig? I ordered more hair. It's not coming until June, but I get the feeling I'll still be right here in June when it gets here. So when it comes, I will show you. I'm hoping I found a better color. This is my real hair, as you can absolutely tell. So tonight we are talking about life's lessons. And life really has been teaching us all quite a few lessons these days, hasn't it? So I'm not really going to go into the particular lessons that I've learned in my life and I'm learning every day. We all have different lessons that we're meant to learn. And the lessons are going to be repeated until we learn them. So we might as well just start learning them right away as they start happening to us, right? Talking about life's lessons, the things that annoy us, they teach us patience. So that's the lesson we're supposed to learn. When someone abandons us, it teaches us how to be more independent. When something angers us, we learn tolerance. When someone tries to control you, you learn how to take your power back. That's a lesson that I'm learning. I'm sure a lot of you are learning. Anything that you fear teaches you courage, and things you can't control, well, they teach you how to let go and also how to have faith. So rather than thinking about, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, maybe we should all start thinking sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. So tonight I have a fun technique. Since it's Flashback Friday, I thought I'm going to go, instead of necessarily a flashback set from the past, although I am using old sets, I thought it would be fun to use an old technique. So this is an old one. I had to go all the way back, like 3 pages in on my YouTube channel to find some old techniques that I haven't done with for you guys in a while. And this one is called Retiform. Retiform is also known as the grid technique. So we're going to get right into it now. So I'm going to switch over to my overhead camera. And I have a few ink colors here that I'm going to use for my first card. And this technique does take a little bit of time. So I'm going to see how far I get. And if I get far, we'll do a second collection of colors. But I have a piece of cardstock here cut to 3 3/4 inches by 5 inches. And I am going to start by putting a little bit of tape on the back of this piece of cardstock. And I'm going to tape it down onto another piece of cardstock. And that's just so that it doesn't shift all around when I'm doing this technique. Now you can use blending brushes if you want, but since we're going back to the old days, I'm going to go back to the old sponge daubers that I love. And yes, it's true. I still use these sponge daubers for lots of techniques. I might like the new stuff, but I also love the old stuff. So I never get rid of any of the old tools. So I have a bunch of different stamp sets here. This one is called Sending Love. And this technique seems to work best to use images that are kind of half and half line art and solid. So an image like this is a line art image because you could color it, but it's got a lot more solid pieces, which means when I stamp it in color, I'm going to get a lot more color than I would if I was just stamping a very delicate flower. So I think I'm going to use the butterflies from Sending Love. I'm going to use this leaf from Birthday Blessings. I really love this leaf. It's got some really interesting texture in it. I may pull in this flower as well. This is a cool butterfly too. Now I also love this bird from Spring Blessings. This bird has some line art open parts, but it also has lots of solid parts for great color. Then if you wanted to go all masculine for a card, you could use some of the leaves from this set. This is called The Simple Things. And I really like these leaves, especially this one down here, because these are very skeleton leaf-like, but this one is more solid. So it will give me a little bit more color. And then I also grabbed some greetings here, of course, all about you, which I always love. I also have lovely words. So I'm not 100% sure what greeting I'm going to use, but I think for my first card, I might do a real small greeting down at the bottom that just says Sending Love. I'm going to think about that for a minute as I look through these other ones. Now you can make these cards as masculine or as feminine as you want based on whatever images you decide to stamp. But the key to creating these cards is to create the retiform pattern or the grid. I think I might do much. No, I think I'm going to go with this. I think I'm going to do Sending Love. We'll see how it looks. Now, because I'm going to be using all these warm tones, instead of black, I'm going to use charcoal brown. Charcoal brown is absolutely my favorite alternative to black when it comes to greetings because it's really dark and it really stands out, but it's got that warmth that black doesn't have. Okay, so I'm going to use an acrylic block for this greeting, and I'm going to hope for the best that I can line it up nice and straight. I could use my Misty, but I think I'm just going to go with the block tonight. Okay, and I'm going to put my greeting right down here at the bottom in this corner. There we go. So there I have my greeting, and I am going to need to get my tidy towel out because I'm going to be using a lot of different stamps here. So let me put this one back, and then I'm going to pull a few of these stamps before I get started. I'm going to take the big butterfly, the little butterfly, definitely want to use the little butterfly in case I have a small spot. Then definitely the leaf from Birthday Blessings. I'll get that one out. And this bird is really nice too, but I think I might just do this bird because I can just kind of get the top of him in one of the images. Maybe I'll use both, we'll see. And this bird is Spring Blessings. So there's 4 images to start, and I should have a flower too. So I'll use this big jumbo flower from Birthday Blessings, and then maybe a small flower as well. And I can mix a more delicate image in if I want. Maybe I'll do this one here from Sending Love. And I always list, if you're wondering what stamp sets I use for my projects, I always list them in the description over at YouTube. So all these videos are living over there and they're very easy to find. Okay, so to start this technique, because I'm going with warm tones, I'm going to need a warm, soft color, and I'm going to use Craft for this. You could also use Sandy Beach if you want. And then I have a big, long piece of cardstock here. And this piece of cardstock is going to actually help me to create my grid. So I want to do a nice defined line right across here just to keep that greeting popped out a bit. So I'm going to just start like right here, like that. And then I'm going to ink up this sponge dauber. And most of my sponging is going to be done on this piece of cardstock. And I'm just going to let it trickle over the line a little bit. So I'm going to hold it into place. And I'm just going to let it trickle over the line. I know that doesn't seem like much, but it's going to create a nice defined line. See that? Okay. So now I'm going to create a second line. And I'm going to come in from this point right here. This way I don't have to worry about masking that off too much. And I'm going to do kind of a long V like that. And again, I'm going to do the same thing. Let me find that spot and come down here. And I'm going to do this. And that creates my second line. Now I am going to mask this off. So I'm going to do that with just some Post-it notes. I could use masking paper for this, but I think Post-it notes are really quick and easy for this technique. And because you really get it inky, you can use new ones for each section if you want, and it doesn't really cost a whole lot. So Post-it notes are kind of the backup for masking. Okay, now let me get that one a little closer. Line that up. Okay, all right. So now I'm going to do one that is coming from this spot, that point, and then I'm going to make it wide like that. Boy, this is an oldie but goodie. I'm going to do the same thing. You can see most of the ink is on the yellow. I'm just trickling over the edge there, but it creates that nice sharp line. And then I think I'll do one like this right here. Now you can do as many or as few as you want. You can have big open sections or you can do lots of little sections. It's totally up to you. Okay, let's see how that looks. I think I'll add a little more to that. I think I was a little light-handed. Okay. So there we go. Now I'm going to do one that comes up just like that. And I'm really just finding an ending point somewhere and just kind of, yeah, I think I'll do that like that. Okay. Okay. And then I'll do one right about here. And that's going to give me plenty of spots to stamp in. There. Now, see how white this looks over here and down here because I didn't really do a whole lot there? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take whatever's left on this sponge dauber and I'm going to kind of go around the edge just to make that look finished off like the rest of them. And most of my sponging was done here, but I just let it trickle onto that edge. Okay. So now I have my grid, and every grid will be different. This is kind of a crazy grid. I had no idea what this was going to come out like. I'm telling you, it has been years and years and years since I've done this technique, but let's have some fun. Okay, so now I'm going to take a Post-it note, and I am going to block off this part right here, like that. Okay. And then I'm going to get a nice big bold stamp, and I feel like maybe I should use the flower for that because that's going to take up a nice chunk. So I'm going to use my comfort block for this, and I'm going to do that one in faded brick. So I have some faded brick ink, and I'm going to ink this up real well with faded brick. And I'm going to stamp it right there. I really want to make sure that I put pressure. That Post-it note doesn't, it's very, very thin, but you still want to make sure you get it stamped close there. And if you don't give it enough pressure, it might not stamp right along the edge. Okay. So I'm cleaning that stamp off, and now I'm going to peel this back. Okay. So now I'm going to put this back on the opposite side. I'm going to block off that flower. Cover it up. And then I'm going to cover up the other areas too. All those 3 sides, like that. And now I get to pick my next image. So this feels like a leaf would look really good in there. So I'm going to do the leaf. And of course, I'm going to do that one in a green. Well, not of course. You can do whatever colors you want. But since I'm using warm colors, I'm going to use fresh asparagus for this. This is a nice dark, deep green. And I will stamp that right into that spot. And again, make sure you really get pressure on it. And I'll clean that off because we're going to use that one again, I'm sure. And let's see what that looks like now. So I lost all my nails. Like, I didn't have nails really, like Rena has nails, but I had a little bit of nails, and all the shipping and stuff. I think some of the girls in our shipping department actually get their nails done. Like maybe they have acrylic on them or something to keep them strong. Not me, mine been flying off all over the place. So they're not looking real good right now, but we're getting packages out. So that's a good thing, right? Okay, so this next one, I think I'm going to go back to the charcoal brown again. And I'm going to stamp, should I stamp like 2 butterflies in there? Like 1 here and maybe a little bit of the wing. I think I'll do that. That's too small. I'm going to use the bigger block. Okay, so I'm going to stamp this like in here, really in there. And then I'm going to stamp a little of it coming over this way. Okay. All right. I have to keep remembering to clean them as I go. But isn't this looking kind of cool? It'll really, once I get it mounted on a card base, then it really, really looks good. Okay, so here, I'm gonna mark these off. You can see I'm still using the same Post-it notes, but if they start to get too saturated, I'm gonna switch over to something else. Now I'm gonna go back in with brown again, because I don't wanna, I'm really trying not to put the same color right next to each other. If that comes up, I might actually pick a whole different color. And I'm gonna use the bird, and I'm gonna put the bird in here like that. This way I can get kind of a good amount of this bird, because this bird is beautiful. Okay, and we'll stamp that right into here. Oh, yeah. Whew, pretty. This is so different for the techniques that I've been doing, because I do a lot of very graphic, kind of clean and simple projects. And this is not so clean and simple. This is definitely more artsy. But it's fun to just break out of your comfort zone now and then and just do something completely different. Especially when you have time, like right now we have time to explore and experiment and just have some fun with some new ideas. So this one down here, I'm going to do red again, a red-ish color. So I could just have like part of the wing of a butterfly. I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to use the faded brick. And we'll get just that wing in there. All right. So I keep removing the stamps and piling them back up over there because I can reuse them, and they'll look really interesting and different if you put them in a different position. We'll get to see that once I pull this completely off. Okay, so I feel like these are getting a little bit saturated, so I'm going to get some new Post-it notes here. So now these are the crazy ones because they need so much masking. And I'm going to do green in this box here. And I might do the leaves again in here. Okay, a little more masking up here. And a little bit over here. I know a lot of you guys do art journaling too, and I think this would be really, really cool in an art journal, or if you do Bible journaling, that would be a really, really pretty thing to do up the side of your page. Okay, so I think the last one, I think this one could go in this direction, and I'll use the green again. So I'm inking up with fresh asparagus and then stamping in there. And it's nice when you can see the whole image, that's really cool, but just like that wing, it's kind of cool just to see a little bit of the image. Okay. All right, so this one could be a big image down here, and I'm going to do this one in the dark brown. I definitely could use a bigger image. I don't want to use the big butterfly because that's right next to it, so maybe I'll go back and do, oh, I could do red here too. Does this have red? Yeah, that's red. I'm not doing red. Okay, I think I will do the brown, the charcoal brown. And maybe I'll do the flower in brown, because you definitely can do whatever kind of images you want in any color that you want. That is faded brick. I just put the brown lid on the faded brick. You see what's happening here? This is why I make simple cards. Okay, so I'm going to ink this up. Okay, and we'll do one flower here. And then we'll do another flower up here. There we go. All right. Have to start putting the lids back on. Oh, that's looking fun. Oh, I didn't want to take that off yet. I still need that on there. This last one. Let's do this one so I can take those panels off. Okay, so I have brown. Now I can do red over here for sure. Definitely need a spot of red. What about a red leaf? I mean, you would do that in autumn, right? I could do some small red butterflies. I'm going to do the leaf. Okay. And I'll do the leaf here like this. But then I'm also going to just do a little bit of it up in that corner. I'm just coming in like this. Move that up a little more. Ah! That's all right. I'm gonna fix it. That'll be good enough. I can't put rhinestones on that, but you'll get the idea. Okay, now I'm gonna take this part off down here. And you can see the greetings down here. And then I just need 2 more small ones. See, this is a life lesson. Don't put lotion on before you do it live. And the acrylic block won't slip out of your hand. Okay. And now I'm going to do green up in this little spot. No, I shouldn't. Yeah, I can. I'll do green. I'll do the tiny green butterfly. Right there. And then one more. Okay, right there and right there. Okay, so there I need to do red, because there's not red next to that. There's brown and then there's green. So in red, I could do the bird, just like the top of the bird's head. What if I try that in red? Not in red. Green. Okay. I'm going to try it. I definitely want to get his whole head in there, or at least enough that you can tell it's a bird. So I'll do it right about there. Okay. All right, all the boxes are filled in. And Now let's move it away from all this mess. Now you can see what that looks like. That's pretty cool. That's really cool. Now you can also do these in very, very soft colors, so you get a completely different look. So let me mount this one, and then we'll try this with some different images, maybe some lighter images in a more cool palette. Okay, so that's going to go on the black onyx cardstock, although what I should do is charcoal brown. Let me see if I have any. I'm going to sneak away for a second. I do. Here's some charcoal brown. I think that'll make the difference. Black is great. You know I use black on just about everything, but when I do my greeting in charcoal brown, I really like to match the that little shadow layer. So this is going to go to 5 1/8 of an inch and 3 7/8 of an inch. Because my original panel was 3 3/4 of an inch by 5 inches, which is one of my standard layouts. So let's get rid of this mess, just so that it's not so confusing. There we go. Okay. Yeah, see, I think that just pulls it all together so much better. It probably doesn't look that much different on the screen, but in real life, you can really see the difference between that charcoal brown with all the charcoal brown in the design. Makes a big difference. The black is just too harsh. Okay. And you can also use ivory cardstock instead of white if you want to. Now I'm going to find a white card base here. There we go. Yeah, I love that. That is really cool. Oh my goodness, you guys, so many comments. So I hope that you guys are hearing me over on Facebook. I think they changed this, the way I'm seeing it, the view that I'm seeing here. So I can't tell. All I can see is between both platforms, there's about 1,600 of you here, but I can't see like where you're coming from. It's just one big number. All right, so there is my first finished card. And aside from that little thing, I can barely see it. I think that's pretty cool. This would also be really cool with pine cones and pine needles and things like that to make a really interesting holiday card. All right. So now let's try it with some cooler tones. So I'll put this one aside and I will get another piece of white cardstock. I hate to use the same messy one, but that's not too bad on this side. So you can see I've been playing. I try to reuse my scrap pieces as much as possible. All right. And just so that I will keep this one as my brown one. And just so that I don't transfer any craft ink onto this, I'm going to use a new strip here. And you know, you can do this in other ways too. Like you can have your greeting at the bottom. We could also turn the card this way and do a greeting down here and have a more kind of fatter grid. Shall we try that? Let's try that. Okay. So one of the stamp sets that I know a lot of you have gotten lately is the All About You. We do have that on order. But I think that would be a really cool one. Let me see here. That would really take up a lot of space, though. I like a smaller greeting with these cards. I don't know why. Oh, could always make it a birthday card, too. But what about from this Spring Blessings stamp set? What if we did something really tiny here, like Thoughts of You? I think we'll do that. Now, this is a brand new set. I don't know where my other set went, and I took this one because I knew that I didn't have it. I had it a long time ago when we first came out with a lot of these stamp sets. They were in rubber. So I had the rubber versions of these, but I never got the clear versions because after I made a bunch of cards with them, then, you know, I moved on to something new. And I really didn't use the set very much, but now it's so much fun going back and playing with all these old sets, but I don't have some of in clear. This is a piece of scrap paper. Because this is a new stamp, I want to ink it up a couple times first and just stamp it and see how it does. That looks pretty good. Okay, so this is very delicate, this greeting, but it's really cool. So I'll put this down here at the bottom. Thoughts of you. There we go. Okay. And we'll get that out of here. I just wanted to test it, you know, and it's a brand new stamp. You like to stamp it on scrap paper first, just to make sure it's taking ink well. Our stamps really do take ink well right out of the package, but some of the more solid ones, you know, there's a little coating of something on them from the process of creating the stamps. And not all of it gets washed off. So it does sometimes take, stamping it a time or two, or just rubbing the stamp on your skin or something to get that off. Okay, so I'm going to do another one of these, and that would really give me like a little bit of room to put some rhinestones or sequins in there too. Okay, so I'm going to go with soft stone for my backing. So let's do that. You know, what would really be nice is some vellum, but if you hold it like that, you can kind of see where it's going, and then you can kind of fold it down. Okay, so a little soft stone, and again, most of the inking is going to be done on this piece of cardstock, but I just want to get enough on there that you can see a line. Boy, that doesn't even look like anything. Is it? No, I could go a little heavier handed. It's always better to go back. It's kind of like, you know, cutting hair. You don't want to cut off too much all at once because you don't know what it's going to look like. You can always cut off more, but you can't put more back on. Well, in this case, you can always put more on, but you can't take it off. All right, that looks pretty good. Now we'll do a nice big chunk going up this way. I like going to the points because then it's a little bit less masking you have to do. If you don't go right to the points, then you kind of have to go around them with Post-it notes or masking paper. The other thing that works really well is the new purple tape. You can use that too because that will not tear your paper at all. Okay, that looks pretty good. And then let's go this way. I have no idea what images I want to use for this. I feel like more florals would be pretty. But also, if you wanted to do masculine cards, you could do like sea images, maybe, you know, a lighthouse and an anchor, things like that would be really, really nice. This might make a really nice Father's Day card. Mask this part off right here. All right. And then I can do just something like that. Is this the dauber I was using? It looks so purple. That's weird. Let's take another look here. I'm gonna just do a split down the center. No, I'm gonna do the 9 grid. I think the 9 grid, it takes a little longer to stamp all the images in there, but it seems a little more balanced. And then I'll do this like here. Okay. And then I'm going to do the same thing again around the perimeter. I want to make sure that it looks finished off. And these are really big, nice big open spaces. Okay, good grid. I like it. I'll leave that on there. Now I can use some really cool colors. I'm thinking maybe stormy sky, maybe blue denim, and then maybe just a lighter blue, like powder blue. So we'll try some of those colors and see how this looks. So for those of you that are just joining me, I do want to welcome you all here this evening. I am Gina from Gina K Designs, and if this is your first time joining me, this is not my typical style, but I'm having a lot of fun with it tonight. I just thought I'd try something really like an old flashback technique. And so I decided on the Retiform technique, which some people call the grid technique. So now I'm going to stamp something in here. I could use the same stamps and just see how this whole pattern looks in these blues. So why don't I try that? I'll start with the leaf, and we'll do the leaf in powder blue. I haven't used powder blue in forever. And it's not that I don't love it. I absolutely love the color. I just always tend to go more for the turquoise colors. And powder blue is such a nice soft blue. I'm going to add a little more up here. This is where I went wrong last time. Not really wrong, just a little accident. Accidents will happen. Life's lessons. That was one of life's lessons, is not to put hand lotion on right before a live. Okay, so that's pretty cool. Very pretty. Oh, I like those. And you know, I am a turquoise girl. I know you're shocked at that, right? I wear the color all turquoise and aqua, but the real truth is blue denim. So nice and long. Where did the bird go? Oh, here he is. See, I didn't put the stamp back, but I think that like so much of the bird is going to fit in there that I think that would be really nice. I could even like double up and put a butterfly in there. I'm going to do that. And for this, and we'll get most of the bird in here. That is really one of my favorite stamps of all time. I really like that bird. And then I'm going to also do a little butterfly, kind of just flying in here. They really look like they're meant to be together in the same stamp set too. They're not, but it was where I was into your collection. And I was saying earlier, if you just joined us, this is a really good technique for art journaling or Bible journaling, or even just making home decor. I mean, you could really go all out on a huge canvas and just add a bunch of your favorite images. So here, we could go really dark blue, we could go navy, or we can do the gray. And I think I'm going to try the gray. I don't know if I'm going to regret it, but I think it's worth a try. So this is Stormy Sky. This, I want to stamp this first though on something and just see if I, all right. You have to add other images though into your arsenal. If you're a nature lover, just that you have something for masculine cards. I mean, you can send cards, of course, but if you want to send other images, leaves are great. I try this one up in this area, and I'll do this in powder blue. Might even be able to get, but that's what's fun. You can mix and match images from different stamp sets, and they all get the right lid on so we don't have a disaster. I think it's so fun to just pull the paper off and on here. I'm trying to think, how about a big butterfly right there in gray? Can we do gray? Let's do that. Live for you tonight. Okay, so we're going to go with the big butterfly, and we're going to go with, I think we'll go with gray in there. Should we go with gray? We did this one in gray. We could add another color. Let's add in the navy. Let's go with a really dark blue. Okay. Ooh, that's pretty on that butterfly. I'll do it this way. I'm sorry. You know, if you are having problems seeing this live on Facebook, you could always, I'm going to do gray down here. And my hands are like covered in blue now. All right. So I really had to dig into the early days of YouTube for this technique. But you guys should let me know if there are some techniques that you'd like to see. I know that you guys have asked to see some foiling, so we're definitely going to do that. Foil, I know foil is kind of a scary thing for some of you. It shouldn't be, but I get why it is if you've never done it, because it looks so fantastic that it looks like it would actually be hard, but it is not. Okay, I think I'm going to go back to that big flower again. Let's find that. It's over here. And we'll do that in gray. Stormy Sky. Oh, I did the other flower in Stormy Sky. I think it'll be okay. Okay. We'll do like 2 parts of it, so it's not all just one big flower like the other one. Okay. That gray is nice. I can pull that off now too. Yes. There we go. All right, just a couple more. Let's do this one up here. And this one could also be blue denim. Let's do blue denim up there. And we'll do a small butterfly because that's a smaller space. And we'll do a small butterfly. If you hear weird things, my husband is taking the dog for a walk. And I don't know, maybe if his is freezing up more than yours is, because we had, you know, he was watching it. And then I also have 2 cameras that are loaded into the internet to get this going. So I like that. I love that color blue. Okay, so let's do another one of these leaves here. This is actually a very therapeutic kind of stamping to do. It makes you slow down, it makes you think, it makes you relax a lot more than something that's fast, you know, quick and done. You just kind of think about it and take your time. It's good for the brain. All right. So let me find that leaf. Here it is. Let me find a block to put it on. And then we're going to go back to that light blue, the powder blue. Let's see what colors. I should have looked or thought. There's blue denim. And then that big one was these. So yeah, we'll do powder blue again for the leaf. Yeah, I like that. Can you guys hear the dog barking in the background? This is real life. Studio here, just me and my stamp room. All right, so powder blue gets the lid. And then blue denim gets the lid. And let's see, what's left here? Well, I think we have to do blue denim there. So let's do it. What image should we do? Should we do another butterfly? Or should we do a flower? And there's flowers here. So let's do a butterfly. We'll do a big one. Maybe we'll do a big one and a small one. And then we don't want to do gray. We definitely want to do the blue denim. We'll do a little wing here. And then we'll do another wing over here, like that. So that's kind of how to break it up and make it feel like it's a different image than a whole butterfly like you had in the first butterfly that we did in the middle. Oh, I love the blues. They're really pretty. I need one more lid. There we go. Okay. So now I am covered with ink. If you love getting inky, this is a great project to do because you can't help but get inky because you're pulling stamps on and off and it's just fun. Let me get a new sheet under here. Okay. So now, whew, I love it. So I know some of you guys are talking and somebody said that they were having trouble with the chat. And I'm sorry if, I don't know, maybe Friday night, the internet's getting busier and busier on a Friday night. It's like the new nightclub or something. And 7 o'clock, it's after dinner and it's 8 o'clock on the East Coast that I start. So it's kind of like that relaxed time. So I'm hoping you guys are all able to see okay and get a feel for it. I'm just wiping my hands. Okay. So now it's time to mount this up and turn it into a card. So these are pretty fun, pretty relaxing. Just something completely different than my usual. I like to just stretch sometimes, you know, something a little bit different. And then that whole thing. And if you like to color, you can also do color, like images that you color, and then you can sit and color and relax and ooh, that looks good. I love it. Yeah, the blue and the bird. Yes, the bird is the word. Okay. There we go. So there is the cool toned one. So we have the warm one here. And we have a cool toned one there. So what do you guys think of this technique? It's kind of fun, huh? Something completely different. These would even be pretty tags. They would be really, really pretty bookmarks if you make bookmarks for people. And I know right now, like people are thinking a little bit more like that because we're sending gifts and cards to nursing homes. And, you know, if you think about it, the people that are in the nursing homes right now, they aren't sitting and scrolling on the internet. They are reading a book. They have their Bible out. They have, you know, their favorite novel. They are reading books. So like making pretty bookmarks and things to include in the cards, this is a real fun technique for that. Well, oh my goodness, I do not have enough time to start a whole new card, but I am going to finish a little bit early tonight. What size is the card? Let's see, I'm trying to scroll through the questions. Okay, so one of the big questions is, what stamp set is this? Well, this is a few sets. I used a stamp set called Birthday Blessings, and that's for this big flower. You can see that big flower there. And then I used butterflies from the stamp set Sending Love. That's this stamp set. And then I used the bird. Oh, I also used the leaf from the Birthday Blessings. So the big flower and the leaf. And then I used this bird from Spring Blessings. So I will have all of these. You don't have to remember, you don't have to write it down. I'm going to have all of these listed on my YouTube channel in the description. So for those of you that want to go back and watch any of these lives or see how to do the technique again, all of the videos are there. I haven't done an actual voiceover style video in a long time. Everything's been live 3 times a week. I think I've only missed one so far. So this is called Retiform. Some people call it the grid technique. And you saw how easy that was. Post-it notes, masking paper, purple tape works great too. And I know that we don't have this yet, but I heard that it's coming out in this size too, the purple tape with the less tack. Now, if you have the old purple tape though, you can still use it. All you have to do, what I like to do, and it's really not that tacky at all, but if you have the old purple tape, it is a little more tacky than their newer version that just came out. But all I do is I actually just tape it onto my clothes, and then I pull it off, and then it works perfectly. It will not pull your paper up at all. And that only takes a second to do. But the new purple tape, the new version, has their little logo on it. And this one we don't have. We do have the small one. This one we have on order, but half the world is shut down. So we'll see when it comes in. All right, guys. Well, I had such a great time with you all tonight. I hope that you enjoyed this, something completely different. I had a great time. Tonight's topic was, let's see, can I pull that in? The topic was life's lessons. And we talked about, the bad parts of those life lessons, like things that are annoying and how they teach us patience and all those things. And you can see that if you didn't catch the beginning where I talked about that. But I do have a final quote for the night. As we learn lessons, we can start to close some doors. We don't have to keep relearning those lessons as long as we actually take the lesson from the experience. So learn to close some doors, but not out of pride or arrogance or ignorance, but simply because they go nowhere. You guys have a great night. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll be back Monday night for Merry Monday. And I can't thank you enough for spending a weekend night with me. Love you all. Have a great night. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And I'll see you again real soon.